what we're going to learn. We're going to learn about techniques for recognizing our members using your Free Toast site, strategies for creating an attractive homepage. Some of the examples I've included in tonight's presentation show some good examples and some pages that I thought were interesting, but I thought could be developed a little further. And I'm going to be asking you for your ideas. Many of you thankfully sent in questions when you registered. That provided me the opportunity to place information in this slide deck that directly answers your questions. If there's something that piques your interest during the course of this session that isn't on the slides, something that made you think of something else, you didn't write it in on the registration form, please ask. Hopefully, I will be able to answer your question. If it takes a very long time and requires an expanded answer, I'll do one of a few things. I can ask you to connect with me offline, and we could set up a separate phone call or Zoom call, or we can answer via email or other means of chat. Or if enough people have many, many questions, that will give us an immense amount of content so we can create another seminar for you. How does that sound? Joyce is nodding her head. Perfect. So let's move on. Let's get started. One of the clubs in which I'm a member is called Talk of Monmouth in District 83. During the month of July, and we still have a couple of days left, 4 people earned education awards. Now, who likes to celebrate their members? So I thought one of the nice ways to celebrate our member achievements is put it right there on the homepage. July Education Achievements, congratulations. I named each of the members, the level that they completed, and the path. Why do you think I included all that information? Raise your hand, come off mute. Yes, Chris.
Well, it's also advertising pathways and the various different paths that are available for members to take.
Absolutely. And something that happened to me at one point, you have to start somewhere. And there were some paths that to me at the beginning was like, oh, no, not for me. Too scary, if you could believe that. And then once I saw some of my fellow members working the paths, working the projects, I said, you know what? That's not so bad. If she could do it, maybe I could give it a try. And this is somebody who's an experienced Toastmaster. So everybody has different comfort levels, but you can change over time. So as Chris stated, this advertises pathways, it recognizes the member achievement, and it shows everybody in the club the level that they completed. The other thing that's really nice is that in addition to congratulating people on the homepage, I send them a handwritten note, something people don't do these days too much, with a ribbon and a Toastmasters bookmark. So it's a nice way to celebrate member achievements. But anybody visiting this club's page can see this. And as a VPE, it's my responsibility to keep this current. You're going to hear those words throughout the course of the evening, keeping things current. Why is that important?
It appears to a guest that you are keeping up with your page. It's more recent data. It's not stale and long forgotten.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Chris. And other members of tonight's session can also raise their hand and chime in for answers to these questions. So let's continue. What else do we have? Engaging pages. I found this web page from Aramark Toast Markers. Somebody had written in a question asking if photos on your homepage can be seen by everybody or just members. On your homepage, that's a public facing page. So any photos you put up on your page, everybody can see. There's other things that you could put on other sections of your site that are for members only, and other pieces of your site you can make for members only. Or you can even further define who can see different pages. But what attracted me about Aramark Toast Markers? And what might attract you to this page? John? Charlene, you can come off mute, please.
It
There.
looks very professional. Like when you turn to the page, it actually reminds me of a remember back in the day when you got your yearbook. I don't know if they still do yearbooks, but that's what it reminds me of, as if I'm flipping open a yearbook, because it has the years there, has the officers there, but it looks very professional looking. All of the images look as if they are professional speakers. As I read down on the page, it just looks very nice and very presentable. So if I was looking for a club that was on the professional side, this would definitely be a club that I would look at, because they just look very professional to me.
Thank you so much, Charlene. And the other thing that attracted me, in addition to the professionalism, it indicated the sponsors, the executive sponsors. It's current. It has the current list of officers, who they are, what they do, and in very readable text, 4 bullet statements. Aramark Toast Markers will help you too. And it tells you the what, the why. And as you scroll down the page, there's more items supporting why this might be a good club. Let's look at some more pages. I found this club, Podmasters Advanced. It's a long story. Edith, who's here tonight, thank you, Edith, said that she visited this Advanced Podcasters Toastmasters Club. As you can see with the timestamps underneath this video, they meet 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern, and Edith connected me with one of the officers. That officer was interested in one of my clubs, which also meets at the exact same time as their club, Podcast Pioneers in District 46. So Edith, thank you for the connection. So what happened with this club is Dinesh Desai visited our club the other night, stayed for a short time so he can go back to his club. But I wanted to look up this club to see how another podcasting club creates their homepage. So what attracted me to this, and I'm going to show you on subsequent pages, they have a video. Watch on YouTube. So this was embedded and takes you over to the YouTube page. But I'm going to continue and tell you why I thought this was engaging. They tell you the why, where we provide a platform to podcasting excellence. There's email, how to connect with these people. And I'm going to continue and show you another thing that kept me scrolling. And that is, we are now part of the District 84 family. This club has people from all over the world. Happy smiling faces, podcasting. There's Edith. And a few people got together in person. Again, happy smiling faces, interacting with one another. And as I continued to scroll down the page, there were more and more examples of their online meetings and showed me this is a very cool place. Does that make sense to everybody? So those are some examples of one site that held my interest and made me keep scrolling and put a few different screen snaps. Here's another one. This one, Fong, it's your club. This is Mainline Speaks. I see Fawn was here. He's in a photo. Looks like he won a contest along with Ian. But what might we want to do to this page? Any ideas? Holly, you may come off mute. There you go.
It would be nice somehow if it was just the heads, maybe, or just larger, I guess, in some way.
I
Yeah.
actually like seeing everybody.
Oh, you like it that way? Oh,
They're
okay.
the full
Full
body.
body? You like it
Yes.
better? Okay.
One of the things, and Fong, this is not a criticism, but just something you might want to bring back to your club. This looks like it was information at the beginning about the contest from last year, and it still has the information from last year's alignment. So one of the takeaways you might want to bring back to your club, or if you have access as VPPR to go in and change it up, put in some newer information, more current. I see you have your Monday, August 5th meeting coming up, but that's terrific. But aligned with the new alignment, and I would double check the spelling because I see division is missing an I. So that's something not just for this club, but for all your clubs. Before you post something, have somebody check it out or run it through spell check. I would do that. But one of the things that really excited me was, wow, look at the people, the winners of the contest, and look at all the smiling faces. The other thing I liked about this is it showed me that this is a diverse club, different kinds of people. Wow. I would want to visit that club. This looks exciting. Look at all these fun faces. Look at all these wonderful people. And I met some of you, by the way. So that's something that's engaging. This wonderful picture. And oh, hello, you have the banner over in the background. That's also another way, reinforce the branding. So thank you, Fong, for having this up on your site, and congratulations on your win last year. Let's continue.
Sue,
Yes,
oh,
Joyce.
you're saying about updating it for the new division, but at the time
Right,
of
at the
that
time.
contest, that is current.
Yes,
So,
I know, but I mean, update the main message that this was from last year's Division G. You know what I mean? That would be my advice.
What if
Yes, it
they
was
changed it to winners of the 2025 division table topics and speech contests?
and just drop the letter, and
Yeah.
then it would be representative of whatever the past and current
correct. Those are all
division.
fabulous ideas. The point being, and you're going to hear it throughout the seminar tonight, is we want to keep things current so people know that you are paying attention. Like I said before, we see the upcoming meeting dates. So that's good information, but great advice to keep this current. And I love how this is such a large, diverse audience of people. That would make me feel welcomed. Next, questions so far?
So when you upload things like that, or even going back to the arrow mark, does that have to be you're uploading a picture? So you would save it as a picture, or can you upload a PDF?
That's a great question. There are different formats you can upload pictures to your home page. You can upload pictures to various other pages. PDFs would go in a section called File Manager. There's
Okay.
other file formats that you can include there. I see Tia, you have your hand up, and then I see Marcia, you have your hand up. So let's have Tia first. Tia.
Yes, thanks, Sue. Can you upload music?
Somebody asked that in the, I think it was you, yes, in the registration.
Yep,
And
that was me. I just want to
yes,
know
yes, thank you.
if we can
I
hear
did
something
research
funky.
it. The answer is yes, but it takes a few steps and you would be required to include some specialized software. With a very quick Google search, I saw a lengthy explanation, but the short answer is yes. And
Okay.
with any uploads of information such as music and assets such as music, make sure you have the rights, that you're not just stealing or taking things that aren't in the public domain or things that you haven't paid for. That's extremely important. When I presented VPPR training, that's one of the things that we have to be cognizant of, that you have the rights to use these things. They could be Toastmasters photos, they could be photos you or somebody else took, but make sure you have the rights to use them. Marcia, I see you had your
Okay.
hand up. What can I help you with?
Well, we weren't at the first presentation, but did you go over how to put these things the physical steps to put these things on? Because I don't have a clue.
To upload content?
Yes, I don't know how to do that.
Okay, there it is in various stages, but as we continue to go through the presentation, I do address different aspects of uploading and where to go and what to do. So towards the end, if we haven't answered your question, we could be more specific, okay?
Right.
Well, it's hi, Sue, it's Stephen.
Hi, Stephen.
Do you, we weren't here last week, so we don't, maybe you covered this. So do you show everybody how to log in as the administrator?
Thank you. And yes, that was one of the questions that was sent in, and that's further along in the presentation. Thank you for asking that, because this is a common question from many of our attendees. Yes, we will go through that. Anybody else have a question? All right, let me move on. And thank you for asking those questions. There's a tremendous amount of material we're going to go over. And again, you may ask a question by raising your hand, virtual hand, typing something in the chat, and Chris is monitoring everything. So let's continue. Okay, logging in. You knew this was coming up right away, right, Stephen? You knew it. Okay. You can log in to your website either as a member once your name is placed into the Free Toast website by one of the administrative managers, or a select number of people can log in as site admins. You could see after the main menu over on the left, there are two blue buttons, one for member login and one login as site admin. When you select login as site administrator, you're taken to this panel. You're required to put in your club number and your admin password. Few things on this particular panel I wanted to share with you. Did you forget your password? This will reset it if you forgot it, allow you to go through the steps to reset it, but it will be sent to the email of the person who's the current admin. If you are that person, then that's fine. But if the admin login was shared with you and your email is not mapped to the site admin, then the other person will have to give you the new password. So make sure before you go changing passwords that If you're the admin, you change it, you let everybody else know who's an admin. That could be 2 or 3 other people. You could also change the site administrator, which is where you do this, and it will walk you through the steps. And then there are also terms of use if you would like to go through that. Next, after you log in successfully, you're taken to this part of your login on the main screen, and you're asked to launch the admin console. So instead of 2 buttons, you now have 3. So launch the admin console, and you'll be brought to a screen that looks like this. Site administration is in the upper left. You will see a couple of lines down, select a module, and it currently says website settings, and then there's a drop down. We're going to go through some of the other options that you have available to you. But on this main screen, there are basic settings. You put in your club name, number, description, and you could see here, and in some of the other examples, I have the club name and the club number at the very top of our screens. And the reason is many people are asked to include their club number for registrations, for information for other guests. And I happen to be a member of a number of clubs, so I don't have all of them memorized. So having these numbers up at the top of your page is good. A longer number will indicate that your club is newer, and newer is a relative term, but a smaller number of numbers, say 2634, indicates that club has been around for a while. One of my first clubs, 7192. That club was around for a while. So on this screen, you'll see basic settings, and then each of the tabs will take you to a place where you can find more information and perform more functions. So when you were asking, how do you upload things? How do you do things? It's through these different panels, through this pane, where you can upload things, place information, change the appearance. That's the next tab. Work on your home page specifically, provide meeting information or directions. And that's good to keep in mind if you change locations, if you are in person, hybrid, or online only, let people know through that information. If you have social media links, you can add them there. If you want to invoke a floater message at the top of your screen on your homepage, you may. One for members and one for guests. Access settings allows who can do what? Admin info, website statistics, and your about page. But that's just this page and this pane. There's more. When we talked about select a module, there's more after that. Let's continue. As I said, you can see the other options for other screens by selecting the drop-down. You then can choose from website, you're on website settings. You can choose membership management. Somebody sent in questions about membership and guests, so we're going to talk about that as well. Email and contact forms. We were also asked questions about how do we send emails. We'll get to that. Custom web pages. I selected that one when somebody asked about blogs, and I created a blog page. File manager. Somebody was just asking, can we upload PDFs? That would be the place where you can upload your forms. Meeting agenda settings. Somebody was asking about that with the questions you sent in, and you can customize those through the meeting agenda settings pane. And then dues management. That's helpful for the treasurer. So these are some of the aspects of things that the admin person or people can take care of. An admin can select any areas of the site. Different club officers have limited access to various aspects of the site based on their leadership position and how it's set up. So let's continue. Any questions about this so far? Okay, we're going to get to more of your questions. This was from Amy. Amy, I don't know if you're here tonight yet. I don't see you. Okay, Amy, my friend Amy, who's our Division A director here in District 38. Amy says, and I knew it was her because I see the membership list. Amy uses Free Toast Toast in a District 18 club. She's a VPM in. She would like to learn more about how to best use and track for membership and guests. So what I did was I researched Amy's question. I knew the answer already, but I wanted to show you. You go to the module, as we discussed, and then you would scroll down to the second option where it says membership management. And this is what it looks like. Here's your membership management pane where you can add member names and email. However, in order to engage with your site, the members must opt in. Once their name is added, the first row says new, meaning you will be adding a new person in. Their email, phone is optional, but their email is important. Their name will have a strike through. A communication will be sent to them asking them to opt in. Once you know you're putting the person's name and email in here, let them know that they're getting a communication, expect it, and please opt in to receiving communication from the Free Toast Toast website. After they opt in, I see Charlene, you have your hand raised. I'll get to you in a second. Thank you. After they opt in, they will have their strike through removed from their name, and they can then interact with your site. Yes, Charlene, you can come off mute.
I just wanted you to go backwards one more time. You said in order for them to opt in, so we have used this page before. So in order for them to opt in, you start putting them in, and then you let them know, hey, I put you in, because a lot of them, in order to put themselves in the agenda, they have to already be in the system because they've been having a problem putting themselves in the agenda. So that we,
Absolutely. You hit the nail right on the head, Charlene. They have to opt in order to be able to select their name for a role on the agenda. Yes.
all right. So they put them in, blah, blah, blah. Let them know, hey, an email is going to come to you. Make sure you hit yes. And then they could go ahead and put themselves in the agenda.
Absolutely.
All right. Got
I'm
it.
really glad you mentioned that. Not only that, somebody else had asked about sending and receiving
Thank you.
emails. That may be part of Amy's question, but if they don't opt in, not only can they not add themselves to roles on the various agendas, but they won't get your communications. Somebody asked, let's go back here, how to format photos so they don't appear distorted. As you could see, there's a pop-up box because I selected this image from my home page for this 10th anniversary. And on the image that's behind, that's screened out, it looks distorted a little horizontally. But in this pop-up for image properties, it looks like it's distorted vertically. So one of the things I wanted to bring to your attention, over on the left side, there's a properties box for width and a properties box for height. There's also a little lock icon. I unlocked the lock icon, meaning I can change the proportions. 2444 wide and 400 high. That gave me a pretty good ratio. If I left it at the defaults, how it came in when the lock was locked, it looked terrible. We all look too stretchy outy or one way or the other. So I made us a little bit shorter where our proportions looked much better. So this is one place you're going to manipulate the proportions by clicking the lock to unlock the proportions, and you can make them smaller or bigger. Next. Someone asked, and if that someone is not here, then we'll skip over this question because I didn't understand the specifics. Updating pictures, have tried before and got error messages. Is the person who sent this in here tonight?
Yes, I believe that was me.
Sharice, yes.
Yes. So I have tried to upload pictures and wasn't successful. So I will try again. And maybe I had the lock on and couldn't upload, but I have not been successful in uploading our own pictures.
Perhaps it's the format. One of the things that you might want to try is make sure they're JPG files or PNG files. That would be dot JPG or JPEG or dot JPG. That would help you making sure that you have the correct file format, because if it is not the right file format, it will not accept it. And that could be one of the reasons. So you might want to take a look at the file format and see if that works. Joyce, I see you have your hand up.
Hi. Yes, because I went through this with you last year, learning how to upload the pictures, and it'll say something about a URL, and that turned out to be not significant. But once you hit upload, it goes to the server. And then from the server, you click on the picture to upload it to the homepage.
Upload, browse server, and something else I learned that you might want to consider is when I'm going to go back a screen because of something you said.
And can Joyce repeat
You
what
can-
she just said? Because I think that was the issue I was having.
Okay. If you are in the place where it says homepage content, you're in the section where you can add content, whether it's text or images. You can take a photo, and as long as it's in the right format, and just drag it from your computer right into the page here and hit save, and then it will show up on your home screen before, or on your page before you even have to go through this box that we were talking about when we're talking about proportions. So Joyce, that's another, and Sharice, that's another way to get images. Drag them right into the panel, the admin panel.
Right, but the way you showed me to do it was
Here,
in the
here.
screen before this, you click on the little picture icon,
Right, yes. You
and
can
then
click
it
on the
will
picture
upload
icon, and
it.
then you get this. That is correct. But there's another way also. So I wanted to share that information with the participants tonight. But yes, that's another way to do it as well, to click on the picture icon.
And then I had to go to where I wanted it on the homepage,
Right?
then go to Browse Server,
Mm-hmm. Yes, select it.
select it from the server to upload it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, these are, so what we're doing tonight is giving you various ways to accomplish the same thing. Somebody else asked about email, and we'll be addressing that issue as well. Any further questions on the things we talked about? And if you have other questions, they might be answered a little later. Are there any in the chat, Chris?
We do have one in the chat, let's see, about links to the training, but I answered that and
Okay.
you answered Sharice's. Yep.
Thank you so much, Chris. Next up, somebody had asked about meeting agendas. I think it was Kathy. There you
Yes, it
go.
was. Yes,
Yes,
it was.
hi, happy to see you.
Hi.
So here's
Thanks for the
one,
training. Mhm.
yes, here's one way, and that is under your meeting agendas settings, you can choose various options. You can select an agenda template to start, or with the drop down, you could choose another meeting that you already have a template for. Like if Bronx Events Toastmasters or Bronx Toastmasters has a template and you've used that meeting format and it's successful and you want to repeat it, you can choose the date and use it again. So this is one place where you can find your meeting agendas. You can set one up from scratch if you're doing something special for a contest, or if you're doing something special for a backwards meeting, or if you're doing something special for a speak out. You can create a new agenda from here. And as I said, you can also select any templates that you already have on file. Sometimes we have to have additional options that aren't just the regular meeting structure. If we're doing something different, if we're changing it up a little, for example, one time, no, more than one time, a few times we had a debate meeting. These are fun things for the advanced clubs. So we have a specific debate meeting template. So this is one place. From the admin panel, you'll select the meeting agenda settings, and then you'll go and select your agenda templates. You could also create new ones if you find you want to do something different. But wait, there's more. Here's another option. Almost 3/4 down from top to bottom, over on the far right, you'll see a number of icons. The icon on the far right, and this is for people who are admins, or if your club has allowed the VPE or the Toastmaster to create meeting agendas, you will see the plus. And it says create new agenda. And from that, you will get to the screen where you can select one of your agendas that you already have or do something else and change it up. So there's a couple of different ways from the admin panel or from your main menu here. Does that make sense, Kathy?
Yes, it does.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Next up, a number of somebodies were asking about administration duties. Who is responsible? Anybody have any ideas?
The entire team.
There you go. Anyone else?
I was going to say the secretary.
Okay. There's lots of answers, but there's no one answer. Number one, it's a good idea to have the president, the VPE, and the secretary allowed to go in with the administration password and give them full access so they could launch the admin console. However, if you feel a different member of your team should also be added to that, that's fine. Now, who does what? I think that's what you're getting at. The secretary should be doing a number of things. The VPE should be creating agendas, and the VPPR, your Vice President Public Relations, can add content to your homepage. Marion, who's on the call, is a member of one of my clubs. Leaders are readers over in District 119 Toastmasters. Marion, there you are, thank you, Marion, has an extensive technical background. Marion was responsible for helping get that website set up, putting code into various parts of the site. So we had this pop-up of when our next meeting date is. Marion, with her extensive technical expertise, was able to get that site up and running along with some others and add very professional high-tech tweaks for things that maybe somebody just getting used to Free Toast Toast wouldn't know. So kudos to Marion. Thank you so much for doing that and sharing your expertise. If you know something, tell someone else or show them, this is what I did. Very interesting, very important. So it could be your VPE, it could for your agendas. It could be your secretary. It could be your VPM handling your membership management pane. Your treasurer can get into the treasurer tools, but the treasurer doesn't have to handle the whole website. Maybe your president wants a presence and to be able to go in and manipulate a few things, but they're busy being president, so they don't, maybe they don't want to drill down into the details and into the weeds. But what I found in my various clubs over the course, thank you, Marion, getting the script. One of the things that I found over the course of the years is that even though Toastmasters International says the VPE does this, the secretary does that, when you're looking at your Free Toast Toast website, use your officer responsibilities as a guide, but then be flexible. If you have people who have specific talent, like we have Marion, or if the person whose role it is needs a little hand-holding. One of the other members in our mutual club agreed to take on one of the leadership roles, but she had never done it before. So I agreed to help mentor her with those aspects. If a particular person shares the responsibility with somebody else, if anything happens to them, if they get sick or hurt or have to go away, then somebody else can easily pitch in and say, oh, I'll take care of it. The other night, our secretary was unable to join us at a club meeting in one of my other clubs. After the meeting was over, I thought, well, she's not here. She's not going to know who attended, who did what, for her to reconcile the agenda. So I just took care of it because I had to do a few other admin things because I was VPE in that, or am VPE in that club. And then she said, can you tell me who was there? And I said, I took care of your responsibility to help you out because I was in there anyway. So she appreciated that. So it's a good idea for each person to have their main responsibility, to have others support them, and for people to be flexible. If your Toastmaster officer role has you doing something that maybe you didn't do before, you can ask your predecessor or another member of the team. The club that Marion and I are in together, we feel a very strong bond to help each other, learn aspects of the website, take care of communication, and we cover for each other. Many of you, I could tell from your history and from meeting you, are high-level district officers. You have other things to do. I mean, Joyce is an area director. I mean, hello, there's lots of things to do, not only in your club, but also for your area. Some of the other people we know are district directors or a region advisor. And they have a lot going on. So even though they agreed to take an officer role, we're all here to support them. Does that make sense to you? Chris, you have a question? Yes, please. No, you're just agreeing. Okay, perfect. All right, so who's responsible? Do your role, have backup, and support the other people who might not have as much expertise. How to prepare and send group emails. I don't know if the person who asked this one is on the call, but you have a few options here tonight. On the left, this is information from our meeting page, our agenda page. You will see some icons that we talked about before on the row toward the bottom. And there is an envelope icon, which you can use to send an email right from your agenda page. You could send your email. You could send the agenda. And there's various things that you can do to include or not include in the way the agenda is presented as a PDF. So you could send it right from there. This is also good if you want to print. There's a print icon. You can print that agenda actually, or you can create a PDF file, attach it to the email, and that's good if you want to send it to guests because they have not opted into your site, or prospects. They have not opted into your site, but they could still receive the agenda. They could still receive your email. On the right, there's your email and contact forms page. There are a number of email addresses here that are built into your Free Toast Toast. One of the ones I use most frequently is the top one, members dash, then it's your club number at toastmastersclubs.org. All of the Free Toast Toast websites have this email. It's good for all of your members, and you could read the fine print. This one I use most frequently, but again, your members must have opted in to receive your email. I know in a club that Marion and I are in, a couple of people haven't opted in, and I don't know if they don't want to or what the rationale is. But what the different officers will do is they could do members dash and then the club number, and then they can manually add those two people in to make sure. You could send email to only the officers, the entire officer group. Now, this officer group is mapped to whoever you've selected in Free Toast Toast. It's not automatically mapped to the Toastmasters International site. Does that make sense? Okay. You could email individual club officers. I've seen this used quite successfully. When people want to put the VPPR or the VPM on the front of the website or on other social media pages. They don't want to put Edith Ornstein at IEEE.org or whatever your exact email is, but they want to put, say, VPPR at. So you would use that. And then there's various other groups, for example, your mentors or proteges, former members, and on and on. So Edith, I see you have your hand up. What can I help you with?
And I apologize if I missed this, Sue, but
Okay.
this function, like go into the agenda, send an email, any officer can do that, right? You don't have to be logged in as site admin.
Any member of the club can send to these lists.
Huh.
You don't have to be an officer, but if you're not in the club, like Marion's in a couple of clubs up in Canada, I can send it to the one where we are mutual members, but I can't go sending members at number of Marion's club at Toastmasters. Only Marion or her club members can send it to the people in her club. So you have to be a member of the club, but anyone can use these addresses. So these are places you can get the information to send group emails. More club pages. Look what I found. Penn Harris. This is out on the western part of our district. And why did I choose this example to discuss with the group tonight? There's no right or wrong answers, and your reason might be different than mine. Why might I want to talk about it besides that it's the far west part of District 38?
That's a lot of writing.
It has a lot of writing, yes, Holly. And on the flip side, that means you don't see any pictures. Stephen, yes, you can come off mute.
Club, 7 different people who are officers in the club. So what happens is when 2 people want to share a job of being an officer in the club,
Ah,
like you have 2 people that are VP of education or membership or PR.
well, one person's the official one that's mapped to Toastmasters International.
Right.
You
But
can
here,
only have one at a time. One can support them.
right. But on this site, a Free Toast Host, you could have 2 people doing the same job. Right. You could pick, you could
They
assign.
could be added as other officer. They can't be, you can't have like 2 presidents or 2 secretaries or whatever. But you can add them in as other officer and give them a title like mentor coordinator or something like that, or VPE assistant. They're not going to get Toastmasters International credit for that office, but you can add them in as other officer.
No,
Does that help?
well, no, I think you can add them in as the same VP title in membership. If you go into membership,
Okay. You can add them in, you can add multiple people for the same.
right, right, exactly. So this way, if one person is too busy or goes on vacation, the other person is their backup, can continue doing the job for them.
Okay. Thank you, Joyce.
It's all pretty much the same font, but they're using colors to emphasize different parts. So, but
Yes. They are using color, yes. But one of
But-
the things that struck me, and I don't know if were you going to mention this part too? It looks a little outdated. I would recommend to this club that they keep it current. We talked about this a few times about keeping content current. Our next club meeting will be held in February 2025. That's a few months old already. I would recommend they update it. And another thing that is good, I mean, they do have a lot of good info. You are correct. They did add color, but as Holly, what was it? Holly was saying, it's very text heavy, and it could benefit from some images, and also keeping it current. We talked about making sure it's current, so when people visit your club page, that it's not stale. Something we talked about, and that is make sure your information on Free Toast Host is current. Make sure your information on Find a Club is current, because what's up on Find a Club will map to your website if you have one. And you want to make sure that the guest experience as well as the member experience is a positive one. Yes, Marion.
Just a note, and this may be just me, but I am not going to sit and read all of that information. It's too cluttered, is a term. It's great to put as much information as possible, but this is too much.
And you
I
know
would
what,
not take
Marion?
the
I
time to read
agree.
it.
I agree. And I saw some in last week's session, we saw a very good example of a club that had information with hyperlinks to a page where you could get more information. They didn't spell everything out. They had an image, or they used color, they used blocks, they used bars. So it was broken up, so it was pleasing to the eye. Thank you for bringing that up. There's a lot of info. Yes, Chris.
Like you said, information seems outdated. but I think some of it is totally unnecessary. Saying we are hosting all Zoom meetings, all meetings on Zoom since April 2020. I mean, that's 5 years ago. Why do you need to promote that? And then 2025 area and division contests, again, outdated. So it's a mix of not only being outdated, but unnecessary as well.
Precisely. That make sure what you're showing, it's good, okay, we meet via Zoom, but does that have to be the first thing you see? And yeah, we know we meet in Zoom, but you don't have to say it was since 5 years ago, or 5.5 years, 5.25 years ago. Perfect advice to enhance the look of this page. Here's Princeton Toastmasters
Right, okay.
over in Mercer County. Is that correct, ladies, gentlemen? Yeah.
Yes.
One of the New Jersey clubs. A lot of information, but I'm going to keep going.
Right, just
Yeah, Stephen?
yeah, just maybe I don't know this, but is there a place where there's a directory where all the clubs free toast host sites are?
Ah, that's a good question, and it might be something Chris was asking me about. And it might have to be. I don't think there's any one directory, but I'm going to break this up into a couple of pieces. There's Chris just asked me, can we figure out in District 38 who uses Free Toast Toast, who uses Easy Speak, and which of the corporate clubs use something else? So we're going to explore that, but that might have to be set up per district. I don't think it's international, Stephen, that there's any international database that indicates every single club that uses which website. But one of the things,
Wait a minute, is there a place where all the divisions or all the districts are on one page as a menu to go to? If I
no,
wanted,
Toastmasters International does not supply that. And
Right.
one of the things that I wanted to share with you about this, Princeton Toastmasters is a very successful club. Some of you might even be here, right, Mika? A lot of good information. What I like about this, current, and what's coming up next. It is a little text heavy at the top, but this is what attracted me. And you can see on the left nav bar, we see they have a presence on social media. Look what attracted me as I scrolled down. There's information on the left, and then I scrolled further down and captured another snap on the right. This is what intrigued me. They had an outdoor event, World Cruise Travel Out of the Basement meeting. So in other words, they got out of their basement, they met each other, they had fun, beautiful colors, well attended, happy smiling faces, diverse audience. So this attracted me. And then I scrolled down and you could see aspects of this fun meeting, people socializing. So if I scroll down after the top part where it gave you all the calendar information, which, okay, that's nice. I'm glad to see that. This could be something that's on the top. So this has pluses and minuses with the way they have it structured, but what they included was very exciting. Who, anybody want to comment on that?
Would you recommend, like if you go back to the other screen,
Sure.
top part,
Yeah.
they have they have July, August, September, and even October. How far out should you be listing? Like maybe limit it to 2 months?
That's a fabulous idea. There's other ways you can do it. We saw it successfully done where people had for our calendar, and then there was a link to their calendar, and it showed when their dates were, and it showed the specifics about when their club contest was going to take place and what other special event was going to happen. So you don't have to list, 10 different things on real estate that could be perhaps better used by a photo but it could be hyperlinked to a calendar, which you could access from the left-hand nav bar.
Mm-hmm.
Joyce.
That's what I was going to say, that they can get the calendar from the left-hand part. You don't have to list everything here. The calendar, for example, when I set up agendas, I've got the room for the end of the year. So I've set up agendas for the whole year that show up in the club calendar.
Yes, indeed. Your club agendas set from the agenda pane will show up with a blue background. Anything that the admin sets in addition to the club meetings will be shown with a maroon background. So there's different ways to use your calendar for members, for guests, based on the permission. But as we said, your real estate could be used a little bit differently if you want to attract people. This happens to be a high-performing club. This happens to be one with a large number of members. But if we're looking to get back to the basics, if we're looking to enhance our websites for members and guests, again, there's no right and wrong. These are just suggestions. And this is one person's opinion. Our beautiful pictures. And then here we, on the other part of District 38, all the way over on the East Coast, before you head into the ocean, we have Jersey Shore Toastmasters. I want to hear, before I speak up, what people think about this homepage. What are your first impressions? What if you visited? Yes, Joyce.
I like the graphic. It to me it's humorous. But you've got the 4 bullet points of what you're selling, what you're promoting, and the little graphic is interesting and to me has a bit of humor in it.
Thank you, Joyce. For me, I like the 4 bullet points, but the font, number one, isn't brand compliant, but number two, it's a little hard to read. Now, it's not just because I'm blind, but other people might have issues with readability. And what you want to do is make your website easily readable in addition to being attractive. So if you're in charge of choosing fonts, make sure they're brand compliant and make sure it's a little easier to read. This is just, again, my opinion. Having a graphic is eye-catching. But one of the things I like about this, they give you the why, like why you should do it. And then join us. New location. This was very important. Jersey Shore Toastmasters is a member of District 38. However, they had to move from a location south of where they are right now. They're actually at a location in Monmouth County, New Jersey, which is physically in District 83. We're close enough. We're right by the borders. But it's important that they let people know because they just moved. This wasn't something that they did 5 years ago. This was relatively recently. So people might still think, oh, they're somewhere else. Oh, no, but they're in Howell. And then what I like also about what they said is it shows the target audience. Like you might not know where Howell is if you live out in Division A, out by Harrisburg. But if you're out here, oh, Lakewood, Jackson, Howell, Brick, Toms River, and the entire Jersey Shore. Well, that's a pretty big piece of real estate, but this gives you a sense of place. Oh, this is a community club. Oh, I can go here and visit. Oh, this is the location. The other thing that caught my eye, not visually, but in terms of what they said and how they said it, over on the left nav bar, there are members in action. Steve Fraundorfer. Oh, I know him. I might want to check this out. And then somebody else was written up in the Asbury Park Press, that's a newspaper, and somebody else had something else to say. These are cool things. I might want to click on that and explore some more. And then maybe I might want to visit this club. So anyway, this is what caught my eye. Again, it might not be the perfect page. We could tweak it, as Joyce was saying, as Chris was saying, but there are some really positive things going on. Anyway, I wanted to show you the extremes from west to east, all the way out by Division A and all the way out here by Division D here in District 38. We have plenty more in between. So let's continue. Questions? About 15 minutes more on the seminar tonight. Yes, Charlene, you may come off mute.
All right, so I'm gonna go backwards with this question. When you are given administration rights, how do you break it up? So you have several people that can access it. So let's say your president, your VP, and your secretary. But how do you give somebody limited amount? You don't
That
want
would
them to
be
have
with the
all of
membership.
it.
I'm going to go back to the page where we have the assignments. And you would select under membership management. You would then be able to identify which of your audience, which of your members have which roles. And then once they're assigned their particular officer role or other officer, then you can tweak it on another one of these pages saying this person or this particular task can be handled by these 3 officers. And you can have up to 3 officers handling a particular task. Does that make sense? Either setting up agendas or dues management or membership management or creating custom pages. And it could be different groups of 3 based on the things that you believe your
Okay, I
club
think I
talent
understand.
handles.
Okay.
But you could have up to 3 people. Here we go with the limited access.
Okay.
So let's continue down to our questions pane if we have any others. Okay, so for continued learning in Free Toast Toast, we get many questions that would require another seminar, so you'll let us know if there's anything in particular you want to hear more about later on in the year. Then there's things that I can't get you the answers to. Chris can't get you the answers to. And that brings us to what's built into Free Toast Toast. Over here, this is accessible once you're in the members section, when you're logged in as a member. At the top piece of it, before the member access log, you can see there's 2 items listed in italics: website support docs and website support forums. These are accessible to all clubs that have Free Toast Toast websites. There are documents in that page, and I will provide you with the links for that so you don't have to worry. Where is this? There are documents that you can access, and perhaps your question will be answered. I find it's well organized. So if I ever had a question, I went in there and I was able to scroll through and figure out what I wanted. There's also a search bar you could type in, and they'll take you right to where you have to go. If what you want and if what you need is not accessible, or you need a person to help you, there's other support and you can contact them that way, or a forum where maybe if you have a question, somebody else in another club somewhere else in the world had that same question. And that would be in the support forums. Maybe that question was already asked. And another piece of it is if you have a new question, you could put your question up there and different people who look at the forums go in and answer them. So those are a couple of ways that you can continue to learn here in Free Toast Toast. And to conclude, I just wanted to let you know, you can contact me. It's my email, and I will type all this into the chat for you, or you could take a screen snap. But if I place the links in the chat, you can then download them and you'll have them as hyperlinks. The website support documents hyperlink, the website support forums hyperlink. And this isn't it. I mean, there's more. You can keep learning with other masterclasses hosted by District 38. Chris and our program quality director, Ann Golden, and I have put together a wide variety of really exciting sessions. From Free Toast Toast to contests to advanced learning for the club officer positions, like a deep dive. Chris has an amazing class on your club success plan. And every time I've listened to it, I've taken more notes and learned more. You think, oh, okay, club success plan, got it. No, there's many, many fun things you can learn from Chris. There are other people who will be presenting things later on in the year with cybersecurity and artificial intelligence. We have an amazing lineup. And there's probably more that I don't even know about. So Chris and I will have to talk offline in one of our planning meetings. But it's not just about what's up there on the District 38 website. So you can access these things to sign up for them on the masterclass calendar. But what if what you want isn't there yet? If you have an idea for a masterclass, or you want to lead one or more, contact our very own Chris Velasco, DTM, our education chair, right here in District 38. So let me take a moment to get you the information and place it in the chat. Meanwhile, while this document wants to open, I want to ask if there are any other questions. Yes, John.
Yeah, someone put in the chat that this script will add the meeting date. Which script is this individual referring to? Is it your presentation or is there a script posted?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Were you looking for the recording?
No. In the chat, in the current chat.
Yeah, I put in the chat.
Marion Taylor says this script will add.
What Marion uploaded, the script for the meeting date.
Is it? I don't see this. I don't see a script in the chat.
Yes, Marion put the script up. We talked about that earlier in the presentation. Thank you for asking that, John. This was a really important piece of code. When we put it on the site, it maps to the next meeting date. So right now, when you go to the website for the Leaders of Readers group, it automatically maps to our next meeting date.
Oh, okay.
Which is in August. And it should show up as, I think it's August 13th. Yes, that is correct. August 13th. And then after August 13th is over, it maps to the next date. Marion, you have your hand up. You want to
Yes.
explain it further or add to that?
I just wanted to remind everyone that when you have your agendas set up, like one lady said she set up for the entire year, I do the same thing. In fact, I do July of the next year just to make sure that the agendas are all there. That little script, that the bracket next meeting date bracket will go to your next agenda and grab the date on that agenda and put it on. If you put that on your main page of your Free toast, or you put it on your agenda, that's where it will go and pick up the date of the next meeting.
Thank you. Yes. And I've seen you successfully implement that on both our homepage and our agenda pages. Thank you, Marion. Yes, that was a very important designation.
Right, thank you. My question, I think now I now have a question because I'm not a member of District 38, and I was wondering how I can use this as VPE for my own club in another district.
Oh, you could use that piece of code. You could use that piece of code. It's available to anyone. And actually, in addition to the valuable resource that Marion shared with the code for next meeting date, in the admin panel, if you poke around in various parts of agenda settings and all, and other pieces of agenda setup, you could find other scripts and other codes that are in there.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Terrific. Any last questions? Okay, well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm stopping share of my screen. I want to thank you so much for your active participation tonight and for attending the seminar. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got all of your questions answered. And as I stated, if there's something in particular about Free Toast Toast that you're concerned about, you can reach out to me. As Chris introduced me earlier this evening, I am the Free Toast Toast support person for District 38. But if you are a member of another club and you're attending tonight's seminar, please reach out as well. I placed my contact information in the chat for you. And as we said at the conclusion slide, if you have an idea for another seminar in our education series, back to basics, something special, AI, cybersecurity, anything, reach out to Chris and we'll put it on our platform for consideration. Or if you want to host something, if you have a special area of expertise, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you all for your time tonight. Have a wonderful evening. And thank you, Chris, for serving as our host and moderator and person extraordinaire. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Good night, everyone. Thank you for joining.